Hello everyone! Welcome back to AAS Publishing. This is going to be part 3 and the final part on publishing in the AAS journals, serving as a referee. So let's get it going. And in the previous 2 parts we covered the topics there above the blue line there. And today we're going to cover what service does a referee provide. And then in the final section we'll do kind of a wrap up of do's and don'ts. So what service does a referee provide? So I thought I would start off by presenting the most singular referee report that I have handled to date. No. It's got remarkable brevity. It's unclear to me anyway why a capitalization was necessary when a period at the end of the report was not. So clearly, this is not a good referee report. Okay, single words are not referee reports. So you got to back it up. So a good referee report serves both the authors and the scientific editor. For the authors, it provides an independent, critical reading of the manuscript. A good report suggests improvements that can be made, contractions or expansion of various sections, figures that could use improvement. It flags weak or unstated assumptions, and it also flags sloppy or nebulous presentations. Okay? So these are things that will help the authors improve their manuscript and bring it to publication. For the scientific editor, a good report signals where there may be problems. Duplicate submissions to another journal, that's a no-no. Text overlap, which is usually cut and paste from authors' previous work. More egregious is outright plagiarism of other work. That should be flagged. Improper citations or misrepresentation of the literature. Redundancies, including just incremental extensions of not necessarily sufficient significance, right? So we want significant new works. We'll cover that a little later, not incremental small changes. And then just basic errors, math errors, reduction of data errors, etc. So a good report is detailed. It says what is positive about the manuscript. Usually there's something positive you can say about a manuscript if it's gone out for review. It's pretty rare to have a manuscript that is just completely bad from top to bottom. So if there's something positive, say it. And then it flags potential issues which are backed up and extensively discussed. Okay. The report is read by the scientific editor before sending it out to the authors. And on occasion, the scientific editor may ask the referee to clarify points in their report or to request extensions of some of the issues that are raised in order to help make it a better, good report. Okay. A good report is also civil and professional. If a report is uncivil, too strong, or the language is poor, it will be redacted or edited by the scientific editor before being sent to the authors. Okay? So be civil and professional in a good report. A good report is often structured, at least in part, by the set of questions that is sent to you, the referee. Here below in the smaller type font here is a typical letter that is sent to reviewers, and the first one there is the primary metric for publication in the AAS journals. Does the manuscript contain significant new results or theories, and does it reflect sufficiently high scientific standards to warrant publication in the AAS journals? So you can kind of structure your report a little bit if you like by the questions that are asked. You should at least address the questions that are asked in a good report. So on average, good reports range from a few paragraphs to several pages in length. And it's really the quality, not the length of the report, that is the metric of a good report. So I've handled reports that range from one word, which you saw earlier, that's a bad report, to reports that are longer than the manuscript being reviewed. I had one case where the review was 23 pages, and this was on a 16-page manuscript. And in this case, it was a perfectly fine report in this case to be of that length. Ultimately, that paper did get accepted after several rounds of lengthening the manuscript, contracting other parts, etc. So closure is usually reached after 2 or 3 iterations on timescales of a few months. It really depends mostly on the timescale for the authors to do a complete and thorough revision based on the report and resubmit the manuscript. So in the case of a stalemate, when there's just not convergence between the authors and the referee, a scientific editor may seek a second referee on their own, grant the author's request, it's a request for a second referee, or just make a decision. If a second referee is sought, the second referee is usually asked for an independent review, and sometimes, depending on the manuscript, depending on the situation, is sometimes informed about the general nature of the impasse with the previous referee. So scientific editors serve as arbitrators, mediators, and eventually as judges in the peer review process. Reviewers provide input into that decision, and in order to provide the best input, you should write a good report. And so we've basically covered over the last part 2s and in this video here today what it means to write a good report. Okay. And so with that, I want to conclude this one, and I hope I see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye-bye.